Next up is Space Infantry. This is another lock and load game. Solitaire only, I believe. Yep. This was originally a print and play game that Lock and Load picked up, and this was a game I resisted picking up for a long time, knowing it was solitaire. I looked into it. The system, you can kind of see that the system really didn't interest me. There's no map, really. Let's see if we can pull these out. So let's go over the story. The story of this is Space Marines land on different planets, and there are different aliens that then get attacked or attack. So this is the map, kind of point-to-point movement. On the map there are skill checks that have to be passed, a certain number of successes before you can get into them. There are inherent aliens. There are also aliens that are separate. I bought this used, and whoever owned it laminated everything, which is really nice. It makes it kind of hard to see on the video. So there are different aliens that have different powers and different strengths. So this is the alien race, and these are the different kinds of aliens within that race, and they come out through like an event chart kind of thing. There are different, this isn't the only map, there are a couple of different missions. There's mission 1, mission 2, there are I think at least 6. So there's a lot of replayability there, but just seeing the system, seeing this point-to-point map kind of thing wasn't really what I wanted at all. But I found it cheap, picked it up, and really enjoy it. I guess there's also a hive scenario that you can play, which is kind of a random map, which I haven't tried that yet. I like just playing the missions. They're short, simple, straightforward. You can play it, get done with it. So like I said, I really enjoy this game. It's the one quirk about it is there's not really dice rolling. You're supposed to use these numbered chits and pull them out of a coffee cup, and that's your, I don't know if it's these ones, but and that's your die roll. I don't use that. There's a variant that's online that you just use dice. I don't like that the curve is skewed. As soon as you pull one of these out, you're supposed to set it down, and then you resolve everything, and then go through. If I'm understanding it correctly, and I don't like that, and it's tedious to pull chits, and I just like rolling a die. I roll like 10 dice that are assigned to people, put them on their thing, and resolve. There is a workaround. There's a D20 that you have to use. A 1 is something, and a 20 is something. But here are the units. The units are all on cards with their skills, so it's not really chits. They're all part of a big unit chit that's in here. So saying all that is part of why I didn't think I would like it. There's one counter for the entire team, and I wanted something a little bit more, tactical, maneuver based. This is more kind of setting up your weapons, choosing a route, and playing it out and seeing what happens. But really fun for it. Again, if I'm not making it sound great, it's because I can't. But it's a lot of fun. Different than anything else I've played, but very rewarding to keep going back to. Everyone recommends playing the campaign game, which I still don't know if I've done, but definitely play with the advanced rules. It's a lot tougher and it's a lot more engaging. So that's Space Infantry by Lock and Load, by Gottardo Zancani. And yeah, that one was a complete surprise to me. Next up is another Chris Taylor game. Chris Young. Yeah, I wrote Chris Young, but it's Chris Taylor. So this game is Space Hulk. The other one's Ogre, this one's Space Hulk. And I say those things, but it's not derisive at all. This game, another victory point game, bigger than I was expecting. I like the 6x9. This is 8.5 by 11. But it's Space Marines on a ship or a space station, and aliens get on board and they're attacking them. It's scenario based, 1 or 2 players. I think it's meant to be played 2 players. The solitaire suitability is high. There's a solitaire, I think there's 2 solitaire scenarios. And you set it up, and the aliens, the whatever the game calls them, Xenos, they attack, or they move to whoever's closest. They're attacking with teeth and claws. The Space Marines have guns and flamethrowers, and if you've seen the movie Aliens, that's the story of this game. That's the story of a lot of these games, for the good. Lots and lots of fun with this. It's not quite as good as I was expecting it to be. I don't know what it is, but it doesn't have, and I think I played this right after I played Space Infantry, and whereas I was really expecting to love this, not so much that. This one, I enjoy it. It's fun to set up and tinker with, but it doesn't scream, keep coming back to me. I know a lot of people really enjoy it. I think it would be fun 2-player. It's, Space Hulk, but in an hour, with not much setup. Victory point components, or victory point games components. Pretty good stuff. I really like the cover art. Sadly, the interior art is not that, but that's okay. Anything else I need to say about this? Yeah. It's fun. It's good. If you're looking for a Space Hulk type experience and don't want to pay the $300 for it, pick this up. I'm sure it's a lot better 2-player because there's more options. The AI for the aliens in this just isn't super intelligent. You can kind of game it a little bit. So this is Time Tripper. I did some videos on this. This was an old SPI Ares game, I think. Maybe it was Avalon Helm. No, it's SPI. So I don't know how it went about, but Todd Sanders, who does a lot of print and play games, got permission to redo well, no, I don't know. I guess not. He just made new counters for it and a new map, and I guess that wouldn't be trademarked because it's all his. So he put new files up, and I came about the rules for it, and then you can play it. So this game, it's by James Dunnigan of many war games fame. In this game, a squad of soldiers from Vietnam somehow get sent through time and space, and they're trying to find their way back. Kind of trippy game. You don't have a lot of control over what's going on. It's kind of event-based. You roll to figure out where they land in time and space. And they'll end up going into the past and can end up in the future. They have to battle this little on this little skirmish map, trying to get the I forget what it's called, the time vortex. They have to kind of sink the time vortex, jump into it, get all their gear, get all their compatriots, try not to bring any dinosaurs or Napoleonic soldiers back through the time vortex with them. Very strange game. I really like this. I think I have it rated at 9. It's tons of fun. You don't really stand much of a chance of winning, much like a lot of these solo games, but definitely lots of fun. Last up, the last 2 are games that I've recently covered. This is Last Frontier, the Vesuvius Incident, solitaire only game. Space Marines land on a derelict spaceship trying to rescue a crew. much like the movie Aliens again. Pretty standard sci-fi horror tropes here. Very, very tough game. It's set up in phases. I like the way the orbit phases and the combat phases work. I like what that simulates. But a very, very tough game. Even if a room has been cleared, the aliens are going to get in through the ductwork and can potentially ambush you. Ambushes tend to be fairly bloody if they happen. A lot of fun, very tough. I've been asked to do another video on this, kind of teaching how to play it, which I'll probably do in the future here pretty quickly. A lot of fun. This is available through Print and Play Productions. Sadly, it doesn't have the designer's name on it, and I can't remember off the top of my head. Lots of fun. Very, very, very tough game to win, not necessarily to play. And then Hidden Intruder was the last one I videoed. This is more akin to Alien, where it is a space station that I don't know if the game says if something was brought on board the ship or if one of their experiments went wrong, but something happened and there's an intruder alien on the space station, and the crew has to find it and destroy it. What's interesting about this one is this is probably the least military focused one, and all the other ones it's soldiers, except for maybe awful green things. Pretty much everything else is soldiers encountering something, and most of them are aliens except for Time Tripper, which you can fight dinosaurs and saber-toothed tigers and stuff. This one's a lot of fun. It's a lot easier than Last Frontier, but not bad for that. What I like about these solo-only games, especially the science fiction ones, I think is I can take them a little less seriously. I can treat them as just fun things to play. They're games. Whereas some of the historical games I tend to get tied up in the history or, worry about whatever. In these, if something doesn't feel right, I just tweak it. I won't fudge my dice rolls, but if a phase gets skipped or something, it's not that big of a deal, especially this one, because you're going to lose anyway. It doesn't really matter. So those are 10 solo-only tactical science fiction games. I like them all. They're all worth checking out. Rescue from the Hive I like more than I probably should. I have a weird sentimental tie to it, even though I've only played it recently. I didn't play it in the 80s. But it has that kind of built-in old sci-fi nostalgia that I really like, that I really get out of reading old science fiction. The best of the bunch, that's hard to say. It depends on what you're looking for. Space Infantry, like I said, it's a lot better than the sum of its parts. Nuclear Winter 68's a solid war game that's focused on that interesting story. The one I don't know which ones. I should have written that down. I don't know which one I've played the most. I think Time Tripper is near the top for me. Again, it's just a silly little game, but all the better for it, in my opinion. Last Frontier is definitely up there. Astro Titanus, I really enjoy. And it has a couple scenarios, and I think I've played through almost all of them. Maybe there's one more or two more that I haven't played, but they're all, great in their own right. Playing, I guess only, Awful Green Things I've played 2-player. That and Rescue from the Hive are built for 2-player. Nuclear Winter I would play. So I don't know that I'll ever play that one opposed again. I've played it in person once and on Vassal a couple times. and I just don't get the same enjoyment out of it. So I also have some other science fiction games that aren't solo, or that I bought to play solo and just kind of lost interest. So first is, this is another old SPI game. This is Star Force, Alpha Centauri. This is a trilogy of games, or part of a trilogy of games, the first of a trilogy of games, set in the Star Force universe. There's one that's, I think Star Soldier, which is a tactical game, but 2-player, and there's one more that I think is less grand strategy than this. So this is a Redmond Simonson game, development by John Young. Shout out. Like I said, old SPI game. I bought this game, again, from Callendale's list. It's represented on a 2D plane, of course, it's a board game. But the movement is hidden in that it's written down, and it's on a 3D space. So you're tracking where your star bases are in space, and I guess trying to capture objectives. I've read the rules a couple times. I haven't played this game. I bought it to play solo. There's solo scenarios in it, but it seems like you have to know the system in order to play it solo, much like the next game. And I can't. This is a system that you would need to learn playing 2-player, but I don't have that, and it doesn't seem interesting to me to play solo when I know the coordinates for both sides. So kind of a bust for me. Very interesting looking game, but sadly one I will probably never play, but somehow can't get rid of it. It's cool, it has some really interesting ideas. The fiction in this is really, really cool, but sadly it's just not something I probably could convince someone to sit down to play it, but the time invested, I don't think it's worth it. Along with that is this game, Starship Troopers, which is one I've wanted for a really long time. I made a trade for it, and the trade was kind of a bust. The condition was listed as good. It is not good. It's beat to hell and just kind of a disappointing trade. And again, the system is really interesting. Maybe one that I can convince my son to play sometime. The aliens are moving underground, and they can pop up and attack. Obviously this is themed around the book and not the movie, and probably the better for it. Although I guess there is a game made from the movie that's supposed to be really good, and I like the book and I like the movie for different reasons, obviously. But this also has solitaire variants that I think were published actually, but you have to know the system to play it, and it has this programmed learning where it teaches you kind of, okay, here's movement and combat, play this scenario, here's movement and combat plus whatever else, play this scenario, getting through 6 or 10 scenarios, and you have to get through all of those to be able to play this solo game. Again, that's probably not going to happen for a while, if ever. So again, this one will stay on my shelf unless I can find a better copy of it, in which case I'll probably just give this one away. But very interesting looking game, one that I would like to play, but probably won't happen. The last of these Also Rans is another, I guess, old magazine game that Todd Sanders redid, and I put in this little baggie called Star Smuggler. And this is in the vein of a game I did a video on called Barbarian Prince. It's a solo RPG. You're a smuggler, you're a Han Solo type character, traveling around, picking up goods, and selling them, having encounters. When I played this, I don't think I was in the right mindset for it. I started it, and some of the components that it seems like you would need aren't included, like a tracking sheet. And there is tracking sheets included, but it doesn't cover everything. It doesn't cover your ship, that kind of thing. So you have to write it down. And I wasn't really in that mindset when I played it, so I think I've missed out on a lot of it. The art is beautiful that Todd did. Barbarian Prince, he also did a retheme of. I have the original. After playing that, maybe I could get back into this, and maybe I will still. But really interesting. But you have to be in that kind of RPG mindset of, playing, and if something doesn't seem right, you just kind of move on, not taking it too seriously, not taking it too gaming, kind of more of a choose your own adventure type thing. And then the last one, maybe could be on the list. I enjoy it solitaire quite a bit. It's not meant for solitaire at all, but it plays surprisingly well. And that's Duel of Ages. I have World Spanner and Intensity, which is set 2. They just released Duel of Ages 2, which is a retooling of the system. I've read the rules and did some, little, it's not as interesting to me of a system as this one. There's not as much die rolling. It's more card based. I was hoping these would get cheaper. Sadly, I don't know if they will, and I don't know that I'll be spending money on them anytime soon. But Duel of Ages is like alien races are pulling information from time, space, fiction together in like a Hunger Games battle royale kind of thing. Each side has character cards. They're adventuring and doing a bunch of stuff. I've done videos on it. I'll be doing more videos on it. This is what I'm playing next. I'm playing with Falcon 00, and you can track that. I'm not sure if I'll do videos on it, but we're going to play on the Advanced After Combat Guild on Board Game Geek. It's Guild 1660 if you want to follow along. If you haven't heard of this game, or if you haven't seen this game, check out the other videos on it. Hello Gregor did some. I've done some. There's good strategy articles online for it. They just released the second one. It's getting a lot of love from different people. I didn't get a review copy. I don't get review copies. So I won't be doing a video on it anytime soon unless I can get it for Christmas next year or my birthday next year. But in the meantime, I like this system a lot. It's very random, but the mechanisms are all there. They're all solid. Adventuring works, combat works really well, and it's a great tactical skirmish sci-fi game. You can have Martians and Genghis Khan on the same team fighting for you to kick the other guy's butt. It reminds me a lot, like I said, of the Hunger Games, or the Hunger Games actually reminds me of this. I encountered this first, and it came first. A lot of kind of the Ian Banks book, Player of Games. It has a lot of interesting ideas in here. Well, not interesting ideas. It has a lot of fun gameplay, I guess I should say. The fiction's not good at all, but the gameplay more than makes up for that. So that is 13, 14 sci-fi games. This is my favorite, I think, by far of all of these. Time Troopers up there for solo. This is more Duel of Ages coming up next. I'll probably just get right into this.